iRacing for such a number of years, this is a challenge in all categories.
Well, it certainly is, and each one of these cars has different aspects that you have to look out for. Specifically, if you go for the radicals, they really have to keep an eye out, especially for turn one, because if you lock up the back wheels on those radicals, oh boy, that back end can step out on you in a hurry. I know very well myself, so it's something you really have to watch out for. It's something these drivers are going to have to watch out for, especially going down into turn number one, turns like the bus stop chicane over there on the back straightaway. This is sure to be a very interesting race here, Jake.
It certainly should, with all these vehicles looking to vie for some very, very important early season form in the championship. This race becomes one very important one. A mixture so far this season we will see of 2.4-hour races and of course bigger 4-hour events as well. And we are under a minute and 20 seconds from the checkered flag. In fact, it's been thrown a little bit early, so qualifying is all over here at Daytona Beach, and this is how the race field will stack up. Graphite Racing then get themselves on the pole position with SimRC.de Strawberry. Alongside them, PCDC Yellow will start from third with SK Motorsports in fourth position. WR Racing B will start from fifth with S-Rock Orange in sixth. NiBBLE Racing in seventh, with eighth position being held by the VAPEX Racing Group Blue, as we have Bad Cactus Racing Chola rounding out 9, and 10th in class is the WR Racing first vehicle, which currently sets a time only good enough for 18th position. When it comes to your Porsche category, it's the Porsche Basel by Sorg Rennsport Esports team, which holds the advantage by just 8 thousandths of a second over Gold Racing Team White, with Bombshell Motorsports Inc. number 186 in third in category. NiBBLE Racing's fourth, with Hugh Janus Blue in fifth place, with Enigma ClubSport Porsche in sixth. And then two German teams, German Sim Racing Blue and German Disaster Racing, 7th and 8th in that division. You cycle on down the likes of Team Vikings Valhalla, will find themselves in 21st overall, likes of the slow racing team. SimSport News Racing, they're powered by iZone Green in that 26th spot overall, and then into your MX-5s, which sees Talk Freak Racing Maggots and Gianni Quintelier, the quickest of the lot, with Sarah Dove in the SimSport News car second. Gold Racing Team find themselves third, with GT Temple in fourth. Ava Vavatic, fifth position with Team Vikings in sixth, and the Real Pixel Motorsports iCar in seventh in category. A lot of vehicles that did not get a qualifying lap time in. That includes both three of VAPEX Racing Group cars, 2 World of Sim Racing team cars, along with PCDC Red, Bombshell Inc., Sable Motorsports, and 7 Stars Fast, who did not get to set their lap times. They will have to go through from the back of the field to get their way through, which will be a little bit treacherous over the start of this event, as we have the Peps car now making its way through the final chicane, and now looking to round NASCAR's turn 3 and turn 4 before we get ourselves underway for racing action at Daytona International Raceway. The pace behind Rui Ferreira and Graphite Racing, Rudolf Nagel there for SimRC.de Strawberry, Adrian Rexnes and Carter Kundinger will find themselves in the top 4 as well. It'll be an interesting race for those at the front. Traffic will definitely be a factor in the early proceedings, but for the iRacing Group first safety car, it's about running onto pit road in the next couple of moments, and we get these fantastic Radical SR8s on for a championship season. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can get social with us with Facebook and on Twitter as well, as the pace car dives down onto pit road and the pace of Rui Ferreira is underway. The green flag drops and we are underway here at Daytona Beach, Florida. It's a clean start for Rui Ferreira on the brakes into turn number 1, and ultimately no real worries from the first pack, as those trying to get around do so in the second pack as the Porsches go behind Alexander Wax, as Jean-Philippe Gendron gets there behind in second. Eric Mickey Martin and David Haynes there in the mix as well, one of RaceSpot TV's very own, into turn number 1. No real issues at all from the Porsche field, and then the MX-5 field will be looking to set itself off in just a moment, and it already has through Gianni Quintilier, and they're 3 wide heading into turn number 1 for 3rd position. It's a clean start though by all except one huge-ass car which has found itself in the grass, and that is Andrew Fawcett then in the early stages. 2 more spinners then going off, and one of them is Fisher Motorsports' Benjamin Fisher here, Nolan.
Now they were clean through turn 1, and unfortunately they didn't manage to make it through the International Horseshoe as clean as some people would have liked. Benjamin Fisher, we saw getting really checked up there. It really looks to me like just about everybody just checked up big time for some reason. I'm trying to look back to see if I can figure out what's going on. We actually have another car off.
The draft is Carter Gunninger was trying to go through, didn't quite manage it. Tried to go 3 wide towards turn number 1, ultimately backs out of it. Ferreira takes the lead. Here comes the SK Motorsports car to take second, and instantly the freight training begins into turn number 1 as they start umming and ahhing. It's now a pack of 6 at the front as Andy Banfield just behind for the Apex Racing Group Blue loses out to Wayne Worthley in the NiBBLE racing car, and there was certainly no bite out of the vehicle of Banfield.
We also need to keep in mind
The field, Andy Banfield versus Rudolf Nagel. This one is for 6th and 7th position, and Nagel is going to be under pressure as they head into the Tri-Oval for the 13th time here in this event. Going to look on the high side is the Apex Racing Group Blue car, but ultimately backs out of it. Wasn't in a position to really strike. NiBBLE Racing just waiting in the wings as well, as we have seen a couple of vehicles not make it through the early stages. One is Gold Racing Team, the other is the German Sim Racing Orange car, so a couple of retirees in the early goings.
Now, this is the sort of thing that you can expect in multi-class racing, especially when you have 3 different classes that have such a severe speed difference, like the Radicals, Porsches, Mazdas, like they're showing us now. And you can even see just on the NASCAR almost how much of a difference there is in speed. Andy Banfield runs really wide for 7th place overall. That allowed Wayne Nortley to get on his right side. Unfortunately, he does not have the advantage coming out of the road course section of this track. Andy Banfield locked up again, going into the corner. And I'm going to go back to it. I'm probably going to keep repeating myself like a broken record. The cars are so easy to lock up, and it's probably the easiest way you can lose positions.
It certainly is, and we're starting to see that at the moment with the Sim RC, the Apex NiBBLE battle, as now Wayne Wortley will try and think about a move into the chicane, but ultimately not close enough to make anything happen. So we'll have to wait for a better opportunity to arise later on in the lap, potentially in towards turn number 1 out on circuit. Back though to the start finish, or to your Porsche category, because it has been a little bit of a waiting game for some. In contrast though, for 5th and 6th in class, you've got German Sim Racing as Troy Goatley is starting to find a bit of pace, starting to slowly break away over the course of this one, and is now starting to gap the Apex once again as he turns around, and ultimately everyone will now find their way through. Was finding the gap, but there's the mistake, and WR Racing B are now back in 6th.
One car I do want to look at that on board from was, of course, Andy Banfield, because he just had what some people might consider a brown trousers moment, because good gravy, that was so close, and that could have ended this day so incredibly quickly. Banfield managing to pick up that spot, but that was way too close for comfort, no doubt.
Oh, I have to agree with you on that one, as that battle suddenly comes to an abrupt end. One that won't, though, is the 116 versus the 198. This is SimSport News Racing with Eric Boudoir against Marcel Mercer in the Real Pixel Motorsports 3 machine. So right now, SimSport looking to try and pull in a gap, but ultimately they have just released that brake a little early, lifted and coasted, and tried to get the run off the exit. So definitely contrasting lines through that section. And they do have Bjorn Defors, who is a lap down on them, just in front. She's maybe causing a little bit of a wake here for Marcel Mercer, which is helping out the 198 in the long term. So really no chances here for SimSport News to get through at this stage of the lap.
I'm I'm going to keep an eye on that fight for fourth now, in your radical field, as actually Andy Banfield drives Ross Bartel all the way down over the apron, and somehow Bartel managed to stick his nose in there, and he's going to go for that position now, going into turn number 1, deep on the brakes. Banfield backs out of it, and that is going to be 4th place for Ross Bartel.
It is NiBBLE Racing now, started 7th, can now say they are up 3 positions in this event as Enigma ClubSport Porsche finds itself in the infield, rounding the right-hander. This is just ahead of Real Pixel and SimSport. Just a big spin trying to put the power down on the exit. Rear-wheel drive vehicles as well, which means that that power goes through the rears, and the rears do like to spin up. And ultimately, that Porsche has a little bit of a trip down the grass, and that wasn't ideal for Javier Rivera, but those are the losses. That's a couple of positions that go a-begging very, very quickly, and almost a third as Alexander Wax now tries to prove he has pace.
Alexander Wack might have his work cut out for him if they could ever hope to make that time up again, because you got to remember, they do have the ability, and they showed that they have the ability in the first stint when they got a 7-second lead on the S-Rock Racing Orange. They've got, we're actually going to see here in just a second at the line, what will the gap be from first to second place? 28.9, so just about 30 seconds worth of time. So even if he did a drive-through, even if SimRC.de Strawberry did a drive-through penalty, they would still be in first.
We've seen an issue for NiBBLE Racing, and that was Ross Bartel, the 4th place vehicle. It was with Carter Kundinger, and Kundinger just gets a tap on the rear, under braking, and just like that, slammed into the wall is Ross Bartel, and that is another spin to go with that too in the infield of the bus stop chicane. And I think Ross Bartel will be due on pit road soon, if not now.
I would expect Ross Bartel to be coming to pit road, as he actually has to check up a little bit for the Miata that I think moved to the inside to let some faster cars through, and Ross Bartel checked up for him, thinking he might have been going to pit road with him. Bartel down onto pit road now, just as he predicted, most likely to get that damage fixed. That is definitely the one thing we don't want to see, and it's again the speed difference and the braking point differences that we can see between the 2 different cars, and it's just an unfortunate wrong place, wrong time scenario.
No fault of his own, obviously. Hit the brakes at the right point. His opponent just got a little tap on the rear, and just like that, the racing changes. So they'll look to continue forward. Stefan Meinke, though, in the German classified results, then let's get them up on your screen. This is how it finishes at Daytona International Speedway. SimRC.de Strawberry take the victory in 2 hours, 26 minutes and 25 seconds, a minute 12 clear of SROC Racing Orange, the only other finishers on the leading lap. Graphite Racing had the early pace lead, but they falter to 3rd position come the end of this event. The Apex Racing Groups Blue and Purple get 4th and 5th before NAB Racing take the victory in your Porsche category, with PCDC Motorsports Yellow 6th in class for them. Bombshell Inc. gets 2nd position in Porsches, with Talk Freak Racing Avon Rise getting 3rd. Slow Racing Team are 4th, with Huge Ass Blue stealing it away from Porsche Basel in the final lap. Huge Ass Gold gets 7th in class, with Real Pixel Motorsport 3 in 8th. Fisher Motorsports get 9th ahead of SimSport News Racing, powered by Green Zone in iZone Green in 10th position. And you got the likes of German Sim Racing Gold, Racing Team White faltered towards the end. The likes of Enigma ClubSport Porsche, Team Vikings Valhalla, and PCDC Motorsports Blue having their own races. A few laps down is the likes of WR Racing, NiBBLE Racing, WR Racing B, and SK Motorsports all running into issues today, as did German Sim Racing Orange. GT Temple, though, thieve a victory. They hold on against World of Sim Racing Team, who did everything possible, but it was of a car length short as they tried to get to the line. Bombshell Motorsports Inc. get 3rd after a big calamity in the penultimate lap. Disable Motorsports are 4th, with Team Viking Sleifner in 5th. Real Pixel falls to 6th after the incident. Ava Vavatic 7th. World of Sim Racing Team Junior in 8th after their issues. And vehicles that got disqualified or failed to finish: German Disaster Sim Racing, Talk Freak Racing Maggots, Bad Cactus Racing Chola 95, 7 Stars Fast, Sim Sports News, their MX-5 entry, and Gold Racing Team as well. We're going to step aside for just one moment here with RaceSpot TV because the post-race show is coming to you after this.
Alfala is $10,500 richer. Two-time NASCAR is your 2013 NASCAR iRacing. It's going to be Humpy winning the race, and it's going to be Conti taking away his first NASCAR 2017 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series Championship to